Doom, 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 doom. What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. It's NBA Talk with Jay Money. We got our guy Teddy Covers here, man. Las Vegas legend, my guy from Wager Talk. Teddy, let the people know what's up. What you guys got going over there at Wager Talk.
Yeah, WagerTalk.com is $2 Tuesday handicapper. I think it's Brian Leonard. I'm sure it's Brian Leonard today because I just talked to him this morning. And that guy's been hot. I mean, he's been really hot across sports. His NHL's been great. His college hoops has been great. But you can get his best bet today over at WagerTalk.com. Just $2, and that's for everybody. It's not just for new customers or anything like that. You want it? Just go get it at WagerTalk.com. $2 for Brian Leonard.
5% play, man, for $2. Also, they got UCapper as well, the gold sheet, $2 college basketball top play. So they got 3 cappers, 3 best bets, only $5, guys. Go check it out. It's always $2 Tuesday over there at Wager Talk. No matter if you're a long-time customer or a brand new customer. Also, if you're a new customer, you can also use promo code J1. But Teddy, let's get straight down to business, right? First game up, we're going to the streets of Philadelphia. Got the Celtics laying 3. This line opened up at 1. So if you like the Celtics, you could have got them at 1, Teddy. A lot of money came in on these guys this morning. We know the Celtics red hot right now. I know for me, for this better, I'm not betting against the Celtics right now. They're a one-way team for me right now. What do you think about James Harden over there with the Sixers? Obviously, he won't be playing, but do you think that he made the James Harden effect for the team, and they're going to be shooting more step-back jumpers today? But how you looking at this game, Teddy?
Well, let's start by giving you some credit, buddy, and all you guys out there in viewer land. I was trying to talk Jay out of it last night. Jay's like, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to muscle through it. I'm like, dude, you're allowed to take a day off. He's like, no, I muscle through things. So let's give Jay credit for being here today at when he's a little bit under the weather. We'll start with that. He didn't want to take a day off. He doesn't take day off, and I get that. I don't take a whole lot of days off either. So let's give you kudos for coming in under the weather. Now let's talk about Philly and Boston. So when the Celtics knocked off the 76ers in the playoff series in the bubble, I don't know if you guys remember that. But it was a pretty embarrassing playoff series for Philadelphia in a lot of different ways. Since that last win for Boston, the 110-106 to finish out the series in Philly, these teams have played 6 times over the last 2 seasons. Philadelphia 5-1 straight up, 6-0 against the spread against Boston. They've matched up very well with this team. The one win for the Celtics during that span was by a single point against the Sixers, and I'm telling you, Boston wasn't the right side in that game either. But they did make plays down the stretch. I'm also with you, Jay, when it comes to this Celtics team being a one-way team right now. I have no interest in stepping in front of Boston. Right? They're playing their best basketball of the year right now. They've already lost multiple meetings with Philly. Obviously, it's a game that they are going to take very, very seriously. So I have no interest in stepping in front of Boston. I got no interest in stepping in front of Philly either. Okay. It's they've matched up well with the Sixers. I know that Harden is a very controversial figure in the sports world, in the sports betting world, but the Sixers just became very, very live to make some real noise. And they played with energy each of the last 2 games. I'm not in any rush stepping in front of Philly here either. I would not be surprised at all to see this game come down to a final shot, the final possession. If I had to play it, I might look under. The Sixers defense right now is at a different level. It really is. They're playing, and we've seen the head-to-head matchups play to the under. I know that Philly's defense is playing to the under. I mean, there's a lot of things here pointing towards a relatively low-scoring affair. Much more likely to get involved with the total as opposed to the side in this one. This is likely to be a good game, and that means, not a game. No surprise here. In the final minute, this point spread outcome isn't in doubt. This feels like a nail biter, whichever side you're going to have.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's going to be a tough game, man. Like I say, the Celtics team loves me, man. I've been riding their streak. They're like you said, they're playing their best basketball of the season right now. You always want to pay attention to that as well when these teams are really streaking. And I looked at the past couple meetings this year. Obviously, you have a double revenge spot for the Celtics. One of those games, they didn't have Al Horford or Robert Williams, who's the key here, right? Robert Williams going up against Joel Embiid. And then the other matchup, they didn't have Marcus Smart. So you do find a double revenge spot for the Celtics. I know that this is a big rivalry type of game. The Sixers at the house, they're going to want this game. They do have the Bucks on deck, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in this one. But for me, it's Celtics or nothing. I agree with the money move up from 1 to 3. I'm not betting against this team right now. I see their Celtics or nothing for me. Like I say, 76ers, they got some ballers, but with the Celtics having Robert Williams III and even Tice playing some minutes as well, coming off the bench, they have 3 bigs that they can throw at Joel Embiid. That's very important here because I think that they match up well with the guards as well. You'll have Thibault on Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, but the other one's going to get Danny Green, and he's kind of sort of lost a step here. So still a damn good defensive team, but overall, I'd be riding with the Celtics here. And key factor could be Derek White tonight, Teddy. Like I say, if you shut down Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, then hey, Derek White is going to be open for him. Maybe a big game out of Marcus Smart. So Celtics are nothing for me. That's the only way that I'll be looking, and that's the strong look on the under as well. Could be a defensive playoff field type of game in this one. That's the way I'd see it. Teddy, let's go over here to the streets of Miami here. We got the Mavs here, +4 underdogs versus the Heat. We're not sure if Jimmy Butler's – it seems like they have him questionable damn near every game, right, Teddy? Like he usually ends up playing, but I don't necessarily agree with that, but be interested to see what happens with this one. Did you have a look on this game? Another under spot, maybe?
Maybe. Certainly, the way Dallas has played defense. I mean, the Mavs have been living on their defensive acumen for the better part of the last month or so. And Luka's on a monster roll for Dallas. And I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of teams whose point guards suddenly take over the scoring. And we've seen some point spread vulnerability from Dallas. And I think because of Luka going nuts, when your point guard goes off early, when your point guard scoring 28 points in the first quarter, nobody else on the team gets in a rhythm. It just doesn't happen, and I know that they're in pretty good form. They did lose to the Clips on Sunday, which was good for my pocket. But it was that same kind of game where this is a team with one weapon and a bunch of complementary pieces. Miami's not going to let Luka score 50 against them. That's not the Heat's mentality. They're going to beat up this kid. I don't think there's any question that's, this is not a game where I want Luka over. If you've been riding Luka overs, not here. And Miami's a team that has been, let's call it what they are. They've been undervalued all year. All right. The betting markets have not looked at the Heat and saying they're as good as the Bucks or the Sixers or any of these Eastern Conference contenders. And I've got Miami power rated right there with all those teams. I've got them right at or near the top of the Eastern Conference and have since they got healthy again. And I know they got a bunch of guys tonight that are questionable. Hero's not going to play tonight. Caleb Martin's dicey. And I'm not going to make this play until I get Butler confirmed as in. Which may mean I missed the number. And if I miss the number, I'm not going to play it. But if I'm playing, I'm laying. I want Miami. Miami's better than Dallas. And they're a team that's been clicking on all cylinders heading into the All-Star break. That's a streak to ride, not a streak to stand in front of.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The Mavs, hey, I do think they got some ballers. This could be the game where maybe Dinwiddie and Bertans suit up. Way I see it, if they do get on him, kick it out to those 3-pointers, man. That's what this game will be. But like you say, the Heat are a damn good defensive team. This is a tough game for me. I can really see it going either way. I can see obviously if you get Jimmy Butler in there, it's going to shoot up to 5.5. This line is a little short. The Heat laid -2.5 earlier this year in Dallas. It's supposed to come up 5.5 up to 5.5 with them coming back home. This line opened up at 3. So maybe the bookie's telling you that the Mavs have a little bit better chance of getting some revenge here. I do lean the Mavs, but I hadn't made a play on this game. You get 2 really good defensive teams. Now, one thing, we are missing Reggie Bullock tonight. The Mavs are. So he's been a key defender for them, but they will have Spencer Dinwiddie and Bertans coming off the bench. So maybe the Mavs turn from a defensive team to a maybe over type of team here. So still got guys like Dorian Finney-Smith out there playing damn good defense, but they will miss Reggie Bullock in a game like this. He's been a real good 3-and-D guy for us here. So tough game for me. It's not something I'm willing to put my money on, but it'd be a really great game to watch, Teddy. Let's go over here to the streets of Atlanta. We got the Cavs here versus the Hawks, right? This line was at -1.5 for the Cavs this morning. Now it's flipped to the Hawks -1 here. This team, they are 1-1 against each other already this year, Teddy. What you like in this game, my brother?
Well, this is one I got in my pocket, as you like to say. I don't know. I honestly, most of the times when it comes to NBA line moves, you can say I understand where this where the money's coming, why it's going in this direction. I don't know why the money's coming for Atlanta in this game. I like I like the Cavs as chalk. I got no problem with looking at them as underdogs. It's a Hawks team that had a nice little run, but it's not last year where Nate McMillan took over and all of a sudden Atlanta went on a 3-month run, a 4-month run, and basically made a bunch of money for everyone that backed them. Atlanta went on an 8 or 9 game run in January. And what's happened since then? We're talking about a team that's now 1-4 their last 5 games, losing in all kinds of different ways, losing as home favorites, losing as road dogs, losing against good defensive teams, losing against bad defensive teams, losing in games where the shots are falling, losing in games where they're not falling. Have a big lead early against Boston on Super Bowl Sunday. The intensity of that matchup, hey, you got a national TV game on Super Bowl Sunday. That's supposed to be a Trae Young game. What happens down the stretch? Not so much for Atlanta. I don't want any part of the Hawks right now. So when we look at a team like Cleveland that has been consistently undervalued, that's been winning on the road, that's in good form going to the break, that's coming off a bad showing, and they talked about it, like, yeah, I didn't like our energy. I didn't like our effort in the loss against Philly. They're rested. They're ready. They're the better of these two teams right now. I'm surprised they're catching points. Yeah, clearly. I like the Cleveland Cavaliers money line play over Atlanta.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off. And think about this as well, Ted. This is their last game before the All-Star break, so they can really go all out here. Whereas the Hawks, they have this is the first game of back-to-back. I mean, they got Orlando tomorrow. No one's looking ahead to the Magic. I can tell you that much. But they did lose the last meeting that they played against them. So it just for the fact that the Cavs don't have another game, they could really go all out here. We know they got Garland back the last game. Him and LeVert are starting to obviously get some chemistry. That was their first game playing together. Jared Allen, Mobley, and the guys. The Hawks could miss John Collins here. And another thing, Bogdanovich is questionable as well. Maybe that's why the line flipped. Maybe somebody knows that he's going to play. Him and DeLon Wright are questionable, the backup point guard for those guys. So the Hawks can't really afford to have any injuries in this game, especially with John Collins. It's a tough game for me, but I could definitely see the Cavs. Cavs defense is real, man. And like you say, this is the last game before the All-Star break. They could really go all out here, Teddy. I could not talk you off. Did you have something else on this one?
No, I like.
No, I thought you had something else to say.
But no, I lean the Cavs. The hand goes up once in a while, but it's a false signal I'm throwing you, buddy.
Oh, no, it's all good, man. Lean the Cavs there. Be interested to see. Bogdanovich is a huge injury as well, guys. He's really starting to play a lot better. Like the last game I watched, Bogdanovich, my girl's like, damn, well, he making all the shots out there. They need to take him out the game, man. So if he doesn't play, that would be a huge blow, especially with already John Collins. The Hawks are at the house, but the Cavs, man, this team never gives up. They play hard. They could be down 20 points. They never give up, guys. I love this Cavs team. I love the way they're coached. And they got Jared Allen in the All-Star game as well. So maybe these guys will be hyped. Him and Garland, they're going to be hyped for this one. Let's go over here to the streets of Milwaukee, Teddy. We was on the Blazers yesterday, man. I didn't think they would win the game outright. They ended up smacking those Bucks up. You watched the post-game interviews. Budenholzer wasn't happy with his team. He said it was absolutely unacceptable. And we see, obviously, Giannis sit out. That's what happens. You sit your stars, and then you lose the game. What happens? But now they're favored by 12.5 versus this Pacers team. Had a little bit of new life out there, but still not winning games with the guys, Halliburton, out there. What do you think about this one, Teddy? Do the Bucks bounce back? I must say I was leaning to the Bucks first quarter. I do think that Giannis comes back today.
So let me just check on the latest, what we have for Giannis, because there were questions about whether he was going to play or not this evening, and he's still officially listed as questionable right now. And there's honestly no way to make a play on this game without knowing if Giannis is going to play. If Giannis does play, maybe we're looking at Milwaukee to bounce back off a no-show last night at home against the Blazers. On the other hand, I'm a lot of times reluctant to in this particular stretch right here, this little stretch for the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of teams playing flat, big favorites playing flat. We saw 4 huge upsets last night alone. Just one night, big upsets in the NBA. Just the favorites aren't necessarily bringing it to the table. And Milwaukee is one of these teams that in years past, as they've been improving to get to the playoffs and to get to the conference conference championship series and then to get to the NBA championship and to win it. Boy, that whole stretch, Milwaukee bet on after a loss for 2 or 3 years. If you blindly bet the Bucks off a single defeat, you made money. That hasn't been the case this year. And the question is why? And as we've watched Milwaukee play for the first half of the season, Jay, they just like the energy. They're playing. They had so much hunger in years past, and this year you just don't see it from the Bucks that same way. They're not as hungry as they were a year ago.
Complacency.
Yeah, you get that ring, and it's a different story, and they recognize you're not going to achieve anything in the regular season. None of your goals get achieved in the regular season. So I guess I'm a little reluctant to lay with Milwaukee here. And I like the quotes coming out of Indiana. I do. You know, a team that needed a shakeup, and they've gotten a shakeup at the trade deadline, obviously. They play competitive basketball. They're not getting blown out the same way. Not a game I'm playing, but it's not a game where I'm laying.
Man, my problem here is the Bucks have absolutely owned the Pacers. I remember a couple of times taking the Pacers, think, oh, they got revenge. No, they're going to step up for this game. No, they're 2-8 against the spread last 10 versus the Bucks, and one of those games was by a half point as well. So you could argue that they're 1-9 against the spread, depending on what line you got. Versus the Bucks, they've absolutely owned them. Won 6 straight, 7 straight, 9 out of 10. It just, I don't know why they have the Pacers number, but like you said, this is obviously a different Pacers team, new coach. Not necessarily sure Carlisle is connecting with the guys over there, but they did get some new players. I'm not a big fan of Buddy Hield at all, but I'm a huge fan of Tyrese Halliburton. Be interested to see when they get Miles Turner back in here. That's another problem. They don't really have a center right now. If Giannis does plays, it's easy baskets in the paint all day. But like you say, obviously some real question marks with Giannis. Who knows, man? I'm with you. I see something in this team just a little bit complacent. They don't necessarily come to play every night. Did expend a lot of energy trying to come back and get the win last night. So me personally, the only way I could look at this game is Bucks first quarter to come out with a lot more energy than they did yesterday. They know that they came out lackluster, didn't have to travel anywhere. Heavy lean for me to the Bucks in the first quarter, Teddy. Let's go over here to the streets of New Orleans. Talk about upsets. Another one, major injury here, right? Ja Morant. If you saw what I saw, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Ja Morant doesn't play today. That's not guaranteed, but we saw him with the ankle. We saw him not get a ton of minutes after that as well. We know after you get off that ankle, it could kind of swell up. Why would you even want to chance it with Ja Morant? He's the best player, one of the best players in the league, right? If he has even a little bit of soreness in that ankle, they might want to rest him. But that's just me thinking. Who knows? He could go. He's a warrior, right? He might go out there, but it was interesting to me, Teddy, seeing the money come on the Grizzlies with no one knowing if their best player, the best player on the floor, is going to be here. What do you think about this one?
Well, the money's coming on the Grizzlies because one would think that they think their best player is going to play. The money wouldn't have come from Memphis, so they didn't expect Morant to go tonight. So the sharp money does think Memphis is the way to go. And look, of all the teams to step in front of in the NBA, you know, Memphis, like, why? Okay. I had a discussion. You ever had Brian Leonard on? I was talking with Brian. I had a discussion with Brian.
I got to have him on. He hadn't been on, but I got to get him on there.
Yeah. But to talk about handicapping strategies and handicapping philosophies. And Brian's like, well, I like teams after they don't cover a bunch of point spreads in a row. And I don't like teams after they do because the markets have caught up. And I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, the teams that are in free fall, I don't want any part of them until the markets catch up. And the teams that are surging, you know, make an argument. Memphis is a top 3 team in the NBA and has been for the last 2 months. My power ratings have them in that number. Okay.
The market's ATS, they're the number 1 ATS team, Teddy.
Yeah, but I mean, when you talk about who's the best team, you know, you have at the top of the power ratings. You know, you're going to have Golden State up there near the top, obviously. You're going to have at the very, very top of the numbers, you know, it's Golden State and Phoenix. And then, you know, whether you have Miami or Philly or Milwaukee or whoever, you know, Utah, whoever you want coming up next. Memphis is right there. All right. You know, there and continuing. All right. You say, oh, well, the Grizzlies are overvalued right now. They're kicking ass and taking names. The markets haven't caught up with Memphis. I lost bet against New Orleans last night. I was as wrong could be. They played great. And Toronto, I haven't seen the Raptors play a game like that in months. So that also tells us that there's a little bit more randomness this week before the All-Star break. The teams that have been fighting, sometimes they let go of the rope like the Raptors did last night when things got off to a poor start for them. So I'm not in a rush to step in front of the Pelicans here, who have confounded me a little bit. But Memphis is a one-way team. If I'm playing, I'm laying. You get these smaller market squads that are elite and they don't play on TV every day. They don't have a ton of superstars. And you ride these teams till they die. And Memphis is a team to ride until they stop covering them, which hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and so there were different teams in past. The Pelicans 9-1 against the spread last 10 games versus the Grizzlies. They're 8-0, 7-0 last 7 against the spread versus them. So that interests me. They've also won 6 out of the last 7 games as well. So those are different Pelicans teams, different Grizzlies teams as well. Obviously, this is the best Grizzlies team they've had in a while, but that still messes with me in the head. I'm like, what's going on here? Now these two teams made a trade with each other. Steven Adams and Valanciunas will be facing their old squads here. This is the first game of a back-to-back for the Grizzlies. They do play the Blazers tomorrow, so be interested to see. That was the other thing that was laid in my mind. Maybe they don't play this. Maybe Ja Morant sits this game out. So it still interests me, the fact that he's still questionable and still all the money. I'm talking about 81% of the money tickets coming in on the Grizzlies. I guess me personally being a natural contrarian, I just don't like necessarily being on a team that everybody's on. I mean, the public loves the Grizzlies right now. I see people in shows yesterday. Do the Grizzlies play today? Oh man, like they literally just the Grizzlies play today, we're betting them. And it's really not that simple, but maybe it is with the Grizzlies.
This is where your average bettor has an edge over the wise guy. I swear, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it doesn't exist all over the place, but your recreational player is going to look at Memphis and see this red-hot team that has been undervalued. The professional is going to look at Memphis and say, look at the season-long stats, and look at their overvalued commodity right now. And the recreational bettors are riding these streaks, and the pro bettors aren't. And the pro bettors are getting slapped every time they step in front of Memphis, and the recreational bettors aren't. So it's not like the NBA is a sport where I'm like, I really got to follow the sharp money.
Mm-hmm.
Sharp money's not a whole lot better than the recreational money when it comes, for sides in the NBA. Total's a different story. The sharp money on totals is worth paying attention to. Sidewise, I could give a crap who the wise guys play. They're wrong just as much as anybody else is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. This is a revenge spot as well. The Pelicans did beat them earlier this year in New Orleans as well. So be interested to see what happens in this one. It's still, me personally, I'd be interested to see what's up with Ja Morant in this one. Let's go over here to the streets. Of Minnesota. We howling with the Wolves. They favored by 6.5 today. Teddy, going up against the Hornets team. Man, neither one of these teams been playing a ton of defense. I must say, Teddy, it's hard for me to lay points with a team. They're coming back to the house off a little road trip. You got the Hornets. They've been very lackluster of late. They did seem like they got a little bit of energy ever since Montrezl Harrell has been over there. What do you think about this game? Can they run and gun with this Timberwolves? And do you think this total is too high?
Hornets stink right now. All right, that's not I mean, what are the one win in their last 7-8 games, and it came against Detroit. And they have 1 point spread covered by a hook during that span. And when you watch them play, I watched them play a handful of times during this stretch. They don't look right. They look like a lottery team, not like a playoff team. And I don't know how else to say it. They're getting beat up in the post every night. I mean, what answer does Charlotte have against Karl-Anthony Towns, dude? They have no answer against the T-Wolves' size in the paint. I like Minnesota's bench in recent weeks, and I've never been the guy that's like, Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward matters for that team, and without him, they miss him. It feels like they've been punked a lot lately. They've been getting out physical. They've been getting pushed around. We haven't seen the fourth quarter runs. I mean, the Charlotte is, when Ball and Rozier are hitting threes, all of a sudden they're a great fourth quarter run team. Hasn't been there. I don't want Charlotte right now. It's Minnesota or pass. From a total standpoint, let's see. Hornets don't play a lick of defense and they play really fast. Minnesota doesn't play a lick of defense and they play really fast. Although Finch came out the other day after the loss to the Bulls and kind of read on the riot acts. They only allowed 120 to Indiana the other night. That still went over the total. That's 4 straight overs for Minnesota. And again, they've all been 235 plus. And in fact, 9 of the last 10 over for Minnesota. No argument if you want to play over in this game. I know it's a really high total. It's a really high total for a reason. And if I'm looking at the side, I want the favorite, not the dog. I don't want Charlotte right now. They're not playing good basketball.
You know
what? They're a team whose season-long numbers are absolutely lying right now.
I must say, the Hornets showed me something personally. That game versus the Grizzlies, I'm talking about getting smacked by 30, damn near 40 points. They come all the way back. People that had the Grizzlies, they know, had that -7. A lot of people pissed. How the hell did it push? The whole world's on them. But the Hornets showed something there, and it's 2 games since they've had Harrell. Obviously, go smack up Detroit. That's not much. But the fact that they didn't give up and fought, and Harrell was a huge part of that. I feel like, obviously, they were at the house. That fight, it did show me something that maybe Harrell has come over there and maybe trying to get these guys going. But I agree with you. Still don't have a defense. They're missing Martin and Hayward over there, and another bench guy as well. So be interested to see what happens in this one. I must say, I love my Timberwolves. And they couldn't wait to get back home. This is the first game back home after a 4-game road trip. I just reading the quotes. D'Angelo Russell saying, "Yeah, we can't wait to get back home and play in front of the fans." This is the better team. In theory, better defensive team, but I said that before when I took them versus the Bulls. I like my Wolves. They're in a defensive, like even giving up 120 versus the Pacers. It shouldn't happen, especially after repetitive time. That's why the coach is getting pissed. They keep talking about the defense after every game. It's not working. It's simple, and I'm not laying 6.5 with them here. So with 2 offensive teams, neither one of them playing defense, the spot favoring the Hornets here, I would lean the Hornets plus the 6.5. Let's go to the last game up, Teddy. We got the Suns here laying 13. Clippers off a huge win last night, man. I thought the Warriors going to smack them boys up. I said they didn't have enough offense. The Warriors didn't play a lick of defense. How do you give up that many points to the Clippers, man, and get smacked up by almost 20 points? I don't know. Obviously, it's a back-to-back. They lost to the Suns in the playoffs. Do they have enough offense to do it back-to-back nights against one of the better defensive teams in the league, Teddy? Do you trust them laying the 13?
So I'm not doing anything with Phoenix right now. I haven't bet on the Suns. I haven't bet against the Suns. I haven't made a bet on a Suns game side or total in weeks. And here's why. All right. Phoenix, the best team in the NBA. Okay. Mm-hmm. They're not a team I'm excited about stepping in front of. They're not a team that, the defensive acumen is there and the offensive acumen is there, which makes them real difficult to play totals with. You're not looking at overs on Suns games because the defense is too good. You're not looking at unders in Suns games because the offense is too good. Spots. Phoenix has been impervious to spots. Doesn't matter. Bad, miserable. Oh my God, it's the worst spot ever. And you look up and the Suns are up 20. But every part of this is factored into the price ranges for Phoenix right now. Okay. You're laying huge prices with the Suns. Mm-hmm. They're favored in every game. They're favored by double digits at home against every mediocre. I mean, Clips aren't bottom feeders. All right. They just beat the Warriors last night. Mm-hmm. And Phoenix is -13 in this game. All right. It's hard for me to get involved, and I was talking about this on another show. The plays that I'm making, the bets that I make, I don't generally bet on the very best teams. The A+ level teams they're priced correctly. No one's sleeping on them. And those aren't the games where I tend to bet because you don't want to necessarily step in front of these teams because they're the best. But backing them, you're laying a premium to do so. I like the B-level teams, the C-level teams that are making moves as opposed to the A-level teams like Phoenix. All that being said, I mean, -13 here. The Clips are good. Am I laying with am I going to take the 13? No. Right now the Suns, you just have to pass. The markets have them priced correctly. They're elite. They're priced too high for me to get involved. And I don't know that if gun to my head, if I have to play the game, I'll take the points. The Clips off that nice win last night. Why can't they do it again? And at some point, you expect Phoenix to take a breath, and maybe right here before the All-Star break is the time for them to do it. They exhale, but we haven't seen it from the Suns yet. Pass.
Yeah, it's just the way they play. They play so hard, Teddy. Damn good defensive team as well. I'd say one of the best defensive teams in the league. I'd be looking at Clippers team total under here. I wouldn't necessarily like to take the under because, like you say, the Suns can get hot and put up 120 anytime. I'd be honing in on the Clippers team total under. I don't care what they did last night. This is not a great offensive team. They even were missing Luka Nardi. I'm not sure what the hell. That was more on the Warriors, if you ask me, just not coming to play, because the Warriors are a better defensive team and they just weren't digging in. The Suns, they can come out there probably drunk as hell and they're going to play damn good defense. Like, that's just the way the Suns are just built a different type of way. It's like we said with the Grizzlies. It's come to play hard every single night. There's no bad spot for them. It's just the way that they're coached. In this game, they're rested as well, 2 days off of rest. They do have a game tomorrow. That may be the exhale, but they see the Clippers beating the Warriors last night. Some tells me that they put them back in their place tonight. So I do lean to the Suns. You're right. They're playing a premium, and the Clippers aren't bottom feeders, like you said, but this offense can get really stagnant at times. All that Reggie Jackson shit hitting the threes, I don't think that's going to work tonight. I think the Suns going to be on these guys, man. So I would heavy lean for me to Clippers team total under. I hadn't made a single bet, but I think that's a really good look. Clippers team total under in this one. Doesn't matter even with the point spread. They can win, lose, whatever. I do like them to stay under the team total in this one, Teddy. Would you talk me out of that one?
I wouldn't even think of talking about it. It makes a ton of sense. And as you said it, I'm like, that's the play. I'm like, so for whatever it's worth, that's the play. If you want to get involved tonight, it makes it, the Clippers team total under is absolutely one that, sometimes you're talking with someone and all of a sudden the bell dings in your head, and the bell dinged in my head when you're like, that Clips team. I'm like, of course, that's the right play. Yeah.
I like it. Let's get to some plays there. Let's get to some plays now, man. As always, I'll let you guys know. Go check out WagerTalk, man. Use the promo code. If you've never checked them out, go use promo code J1. You get any picks and packages over there for less than $1.
Have you ever checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. All NBA Talk with J Money viewers who are new to WagerTalk can get a one-day all-access pass to the handicapper of their choice for only $1 versus a regular price of $39 using coupon code J1 when checking out. Our new roster of experts is 25 deep, covering sports from around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is be a first-time WagerTalk customer. Go to WagerTalk.com, choose the handicapper of your choice, use coupon code J1 when checking out on a one-day all-access pass, and get a full day of picks for only $1.
Go check him out. I'm always staring at the WagerTalk live odds screen as well, Teddy. Like I always tell people, make sure you're getting the best line, man. Every half point matters. A lot of these games, there's some discrepancy, maybe up to a full point, man. So make sure you're shopping at different books. Make sure you're getting the best line. Even free picks over there at WagerTalk.com as well, Teddy. You like anything on today's card?
Yeah, just real quick. We're seeing money come for Philly right now as we speak. The threes, the 2.5s, all getting bought up. For the 76ers. So if you like Philly, that's a run to the window. Don't walk, so you can find a book that still has a 3 or 2.5 out there for the 76ers. For tonight, I have one client play. Don't go and buy it. I'm giving it to you guys for free. It's Cleveland on the money line in the game that I expect them to win. I have a definite lean towards Minnesota /over. I think the over might be the better of the two plays there, but I've not yet pulled the trigger on that one. And I also lean Miami, although we're going to wait and make sure that Butler's in. And if Butler's in, the line's going to skyrocket, so I probably don't get to the window, even though I lean in that direction there. So the plays on Cleveland, we do like the over in Minnesota, Charlotte, and the lean towards Miami.
I like it, Teddy. I might ride with you on Cavs, man. I hadn't made a single bet yet. And we also staring at this live odds screen. Maybe Giannis is coming in. Line was at 12.5. It's hitting 13.5 of 14 at bookmaker, guys. So it's 14 at Westgate. So it looks like Giannis may be in. My best bet for that game, if I had one play today, I'd be looking at Bucks first quarter, especially like Giannis is in there. Bucks first quarter to come out here with a lot more energy and better effort after that terrible effort last night. If the Pacers do get going, it'll probably be in the second half of this one, obviously when they have the rest advantage. But early on, Bucks first quarter is what I'll be looking at, guys. Like I say, go check out WagerTalk.com live odds screen. I'm looking at it all day, man. Just watching numbers. They had a money percentage on there as well if you're interested in it, man. So I appreciate that's my guy Teddy Covers. Hey, he gave you this client play of the day. I appreciate it. Go check him out on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. You can follow me as well at JMoneyIsMoney. A little under the weather, man. We still trying to get some cash. We still gonna power through to this All-Star break. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we out, my guys. Let's cash.